Hello everyone, my name is Nick, and I'm on a mission to take my main account to the next level by hunting down some of the strongest items in the game while maxing out my stats. In the last video, I completed 100 raids at TOA, receiving quite a few drops including the Tumikin Shadow, and profited 1.6 bill. This video, I listened to you guys and decided to take on the Inferno, so let's see how that challenge is going. This is Getting Good at RuneScape. Alright, new day, new challenge. Honestly, I'm not looking forward to this at all. In the last video, everyone left a comment saying they wanted to see me struggle with the Inferno next, and I'm not really surprised, but I don't even know anything about the Inferno. Now that I think about it, I don't even think I've seen someone complete the Inferno yet. Oh man, just looking, I don't even have a second cape, and I know it's been years since I've done my last normal Jad run, so this is gonna be fun. So I guess the first thing I need to do is go get that second cape so I can sacrifice it. I have a really good feeling I'm going to keep this cape right now just because I don't have any high hopes for this, and if I want to do something in between these attempts, I'm going to need this fire cape. So let's go get that second one. In other news, real quick, I did play around with the Tumikin Shadow a little bit. I sold off the claws and bought full Ancestral, and I did about 10 more TOA runs just to feel the full power of the staff, and it was a lot of fun. The only thing notable from that is I did get a 350 run with Insanity just so I could, and that's pretty much where I'm at. And I'm terrified to even start this challenge. So the second thing I have to do is get that second fire cape to even attempt the Inferno runs, and this is what I'm going to be rocking for the fight capes. Over the years, I've done every Slayer task assigned to me for Jad, and I have a few kills under my belt, but I don't think it's anything impressive. I'm still pretty confident in what I'm doing, but I forget what I'm supposed to take in, so I'm just going to wing it with this gear. I'm sure it's way better than anything I used in the past, so here's hoping for, I don't know, a sub 45, and I really hope I remember the Jad animations. There it is, just under 40 minutes. I'll take it. Thankfully, I did remember the animations for Jad, so this wasn't too bad. Well, I guess now I gotta go sell stuff and get ready for Inferno attempts. Okay, so I've been looking at some guides, and to get the gear that I want, I'm probably gonna have to sell my staff. The idea with getting the Shadow was to keep it forever and have that permanently checked off on my wish list of items that I wanted on my account. But I know my skill level is nowhere near good enough to even attempt Inferno yet, let alone not have the T-bow for Zuck. So for now, I'm just going to sell it off and get the T-bow for these runs. As much as that hurt, actually seeing 1.3 bill in a cash stack is kind of cool. So after this is done, though, I do want to go back and I will buy the staff again and permanently have it on my account so I can do Cox or whatever grind I want to do next. Figure having the crystal set and the Bofa is more than enough that covers anything that I need for range requirements, and that way I can still keep one of the best magic weapons in the game as well. Alright, after selling off the staff and the ancestral bottoms, I did snag the T-bow, and this is the first time ever having one, so I'm just beyond excited to use it now. I love this item. It's one of my favorite items in the game, so I'm pretty excited right now. Well, time to go buy more stuff and start these runs. So I think this is what I'm going to be taking for majority of the runs, and I have no idea what I'm doing. I focused on prayer bonus over everything, mainly because I think I'm going to need that more, just because I don't know how to prayer flick at all, and hopefully I learn that really quickly. For the actual gear, I have the blowpipe that has the rune darts in it for now, just so I can learn. The twisted bow, of course, for the mages, Jad, and of course Zuck, and I'm going to be taking the dragon arrows. The crystal shield is supposed to be like really good here. I think the direct upgrade is the Ellie, which of course I can't afford right now. The code I want for blasting ancient spells, and the armor here you can see. I have the armored top in the bottom, the ancestral chop for early waves, the occult and anguish switch, and the Justy helm. The boots and the ring just really help with prayer, and yeah, I think that's pretty much everything important. I guess there's really not much else to do besides start learning attempts and practicing. First stop on the practice list to get used to the upgraded Jad, and this little challenge board is just the perfect spot. Before I actually take on the Inferno, I do really need to practice with Jad. Most of the time, I just feel like I get lucky with them, so this little challenge mode is going to be really nice. Just get a little bit more practice with it before I move up to the duo Jads, before taking on the Inferno for the triple Jads. So, oh, that's mage. I'm dead. All right, yeah, that kind of figures for the first run. Okay, there we go. There's Casey number 2 on solo Jad. I feel a lot more confident now, and I don't really want to stick with one Jad forever, so I think I'm going to go ahead and push up to the 2 Jads. Okay, I lied. I did a few more solo Jads, but there should be duo Jad completed. Yep, there's the achievement. So let's go ahead and run this a few more times just to make sure I'm good enough for later. I'm dead. Okay. Ah, damn it. I did this first try earlier. What is going on? Okay. I'll stop stalling and dying to Jads. I did get a couple of good runs in there for practice, but I think it's time to actually start learning the waves, which is probably going to be by far the worst part. So, no time like the present. Let's finally jump into it. Alright, it's time for Editing Nick to pop in and explain how my experience is going, as you just watch me die over and over again in the background. These first few runs were really just me focusing on playing around with the monsters and getting a feel for how they worked and just getting used to the layout and the tiles I found online. I did spend a good amount of time watching guides and watching people do full runs in the Inferno, so I had some idea of what I was doing before just diving head first into it. But I had to say, watching someone that does this content or is just really good at it versus actually learning and doing it yourself is incredibly demotivating. It's really hard. The first 10 waves were just spent with me playing around with the monsters and learning their movement and timing and everything like that before I actually gave it a full go. From there, I actually started learning how to use the prayers correctly and using brews when I messed up, and things really quickly got complicated. Whoever says they enjoy this content is either a master at this game, really likes torturing themselves, or is just a liar. Some of these runs I would do great, getting up into the 40s all the way to the 60s, and other times I would completely choke on wave 20. It's insane how triggering and how angry you get when that happens. And most of the time it's to one of these two monsters, the melee and the blob. The melee is actually rather chill. He can be blocked off in most situations, but he does put a time restraint on what you're doing as he digs to your location if you don't get hit by him after a certain amount of time, and things get really complicated if he digs to you. This guy is the devil, especially when the melee is involved. He's the one that forced me to learn how to prayer flick, and I'm not a fan. Still die to that all the time and just take unnecessary damage. But most of the waves that I died, it's normally when I'm panicking while doing the prayer flicks and I have to move because the melee jumped to me or I just mistimed something. While the blob is a really good source of healing during this challenge, I can confidently say I hate this monster the most. He hits super hard when you mess up on the prayers, and even his bloblets can just absolutely destroy you if you're not paying attention. In the last 2 weeks that I've been here, the highest wave I've gotten to is 64, and that really hurts to say. I really wanted to get this done in the time frame, but my god, this challenge is no joke, and I'm not happy that I'm still here. During my time here, I lost anywhere between 5 and 8 million on runes, ammo, restores, and brews. So being able to play the game for 2 weeks at a time while learning something incredibly difficult, I wouldn't say this is an expensive activity to try to learn, but it's still, it still costs a good amount. Besides the waves being incredibly difficult to maneuver around, I would have to say this content would probably be a really hard challenge for the average player simply because of a time requirement. Now, hang on, this still is incredibly difficult to do, but I still think it's doable. I highly recommend that anyone who wants to and can to go give this a shot. Learning the waves is actually a lot of fun, and it's super exciting to see yourself get into the higher waves, even though if you're anything like me, the next attempt when you do something really well, you're going to die really early, and it's really demotivating, but the content's really rewarding, and I can see myself getting better over time at just general game mechanics, stuff from like prayer flicking to learning how movement and just monsters interact with you. Everything's incredibly important, and you learn a lot here. The time issue that I'm talking about, though, being the hardest to deal with for the average player is if you run into a situation like me. Once you actually convince yourself to do this content, because yes, it is hard, but you start getting more comfortable with the mechanics and you start getting into the higher waves, you start running into a point where you realize this is taking a really long time. Some of the longer runs, like the attempt where I got to 64, almost took 2 hours just to get to, and that's kind of a long time for someone like me. While I did get 28 attempts in this week, you have to remember that majority of that time was actually spent learning the waves, and some of the attempts I died off super early, so I did have enough time to start it up again before I just start running into a time issue. I knew that if I was going to start doing really good, and I didn't have a lot of time left, that meant I'm probably going to have to kill the run early just because I don't always have time for a multiple hour-long session. Yes, you can pause the waves and get stuff done if you need to, but if you're anything like me, coming back to the high waves after a few hours or even a full workday, I'm not good enough to pick up from where I was. So as of right now, you can still find me in the pits grinding out the Infernal attempts. I really hope to get this cape done sooner rather than later, so maybe the next video will be uploaded early if I can actually get this done, but don't be too surprised if it takes me another 2 weeks. So hopefully the next video you'll actually get to see me complete this challenge, and maybe some more content on the side as I try to do some other things like some random bossing when I have some time but not enough time for a full run. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let me know how your Infernal attempts went. I'm incredibly interested in hearing some of the stories from casual players and how their experience went with this, because I really need some encouragement to keep pushing on. So thank you so much again for watching. I hope you're having a great day and stay inspired. I hope to see you guys soon.